Hi, my name is George Shelby. I'm here at the Yamaha Toyota factory in Hamamatsu, Japan, where some of the finest instruments in the world are made. Here on display is the 5 millionth wind instrument that was built at the factory. The reason I'm here today, specifically, is to try out the new Yamaha Custom EX saxophone. I've been a Yamaha player for many years, and I can't wait to try this new sax. So let's see what we've got here. Okay. Apparently this one isn't quite ready yet, so why don't we go over to the factory and see if we can find one that may be ready to play. For more than 40 years, Yamaha has been designing and building saxophones. Total number of screws, pads, springs, keys, everything on a saxophone is around 600 pieces. It takes approximately 3 months from raw materials to finished product to complete a saxophone. You ever wondered how a sax is made? I have. My friends here have agreed to take me into the factory and show us all the quality and craftsmanship that goes into every Yamaha saxophone. Let's go take a look. So how do you make a saxophone? Well, we start here in the Yamaha Computer Design Center. This is where we take the basic design for the saxophone, which has been around for hundreds of years, and work on improving it. Using the latest technology, latest computers, and latest software, an old design becomes something new. The design team for the new Yamaha saxophones was headed by Mr. Kenmochi, a jazz sax player himself. He selects consultant artists to work with, testing his results every step of the way. How much brass does it take to make a saxophone? About 2.5 kilos, which converts to about 5.5 pounds. Here's where Yamaha craftsmanship really starts to take hold and become evident. Here in the factory, where everything is done by hand. Bells are being spun, bells are being hammered. It really doesn't look that hard. Maybe I can do some. Thank you. The brass for the Pro and Custom models comes from France. It's not pure brass, it's a composite of other materials. It contains slight impurities, and this is one reason the same alloy of brass from different areas can sound different. It's a slight difference, but it's the subtle things that make the difference between a pretty good and a great sax. Our saxophone is starting to take shape. From our rounded piece of shiny brass, Yamaha precision machines are starting to cut the tone holes. Each one will turn out exactly the same. Yamaha precision machinery. See, he's putting the basic saxophone piece onto this machine, which will start to drill out the tone holes. Almost all of the machines used in the saxophone making process were designed and built by Yamaha employees. The craftsmen themselves come up with many of the ideas, since they're closest to the instruments and know the best way to build them. Once that gets done, shaped like this. More work will be done to smooth the edges. Okay, the body of the saxophone is ready to have the post soldered onto it. Due to the precision machinery, make sure that the posts go in exactly the same place on every saxophone. Can I get that try?
No.
A little bit. One time.
No.
Are you sure? Ah! Did you know that more than 40% of Yamaha workers actually play musical instruments? After being hired by Yamaha, employees are assessed for their strengths and interests, and they start out with the easier processes. Even for the easy stages, they will train for around 3 months. The hardest job in making saxes is the key adjustment. When a worker moves up to that level, they will need 6 months of special training. Many of the employees have been working for Yamaha more than 20 years. Every sax player knows that the neck plays a very important part in producing the sound. Here again, Yamaha takes pride in handcrafting every one of their necks. As you can tell if you've ever played one. This is the one place where no two Yamaha saxes will ever come out alike, because all the engraving on the bells are done by hand. Each saxophone has the pattern sprayed onto it very lightly, and then it's engraved by hand. No machine does this, so each one will be slightly different. All right, now we're going to do a design. This is just wrong.
今度前へ進まなくなっちゃうもん。
Make a hole in the bell.
細かくなっちゃって、
はい。
この角度のちょうどいいところで前へ押すような感じで。
Down more? Okay, point straight at it. You sure? Really?
Go that way. ここだけを回す。
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah? Thank you. All right.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
So how does a dull piece of brass go from this to something shiny like this? Hours and hours of buffing and polishing, buffing and polishing, and buffing and polishing. Here's where the lacquering process occurs. First, the horns are ultrasonically cleaned to make sure there are no impurities. Then they're dipped multiple times for a finish that's beautiful and durable. Yamaha uses an electrostatic process for lacquering their horns. The saxophones pass through a mist of lacquer with a static electric charge passing through the instruments. This attracts the lacquer in a very even, durable coat. More quality control from Yamaha after the lacquering process. Every part of the horn is checked over, looking for imperfections, making sure that it actually meets with Yamaha standards. It's good? It's okay? Okay. Sign here says, absolutely do not enter unless you get permission from the president of the factory. Come on, let's go. You may want a silver-plated horn. Yamaha specializes in a plating that's incredibly even, very thick, and very durable. So whether it's regular lacquer, silver, or even gold, Yamaha can do it for you. Here's a very important part of the Yamaha saxophone making process. Not every machine is perfect. And here once again, hand craftsmanship comes into play. Each tone hole is hand rolled to make sure it comes out perfectly level and perfectly even. Good? Those plain pieces of brass are finally starting to take shape as a saxophone. They've been polished, hammered, lacquered, engraved. Now it's time for final assembly to start. Before final assembly starts, tape is put on the saxophone so that no damage will occur to the finish as everything's being put together. It's actually starting to look like a saxophone now. Too tight? Who puts the pads in? She puts the pads in. Ever wonder what a saxophone pad is made out of? The surface is goat skin, and the felt is made of sheep's wool. As the saxophone continues to be assembled, leaks are checked for and taken care of. An orange light is used because it's easier on the eyes. We haven't attached the bell yet, but we're getting close. Okay, well, I think we're finally ready to get these pieces together. And you know, since I am a sax player, I should be able to figure this out, and I guess it, you know, heck, I give up. You come over, you take it. Okay. We finally reached the end of the saxophone making process, and once again, Yamaha craftsmanship comes into play. Every saxophone is carefully and completely checked over to make sure that there are no leaks and it's playable.
Yes. Oh.
That's right. I hope you've enjoyed our time here, making a beautiful new Yamaha custom saxophone. But to fully experience these great instruments, please visit your local Yamaha dealer, who will be happy to show you the complete line of Yamaha saxophones. Until then, I'm George Shelby, and I'll see you backstage.